All right. I wasn't expecting to go live tonight because I just was sitting around. Then I saw my sister, Roxy Stryer, was doing live reaction to the Obi Wan being delayed news. I got in on her chat saying I would do a live reaction if she got me to 50 people. She got me to 50 people. That is the power of my sister, Roxy Stryer. Her fans are legion. Again, wasn't ready to do it, so I've created the best set I can. Picture of Bespin behind me. Medal of Yavin on my neck. I was just wearing this casually. I didn't plan on streaming. I've just been wearing this all day because it looks dope. It's actually kind of heavy. It's really a shame Chewbacca didn't get one of these until the very end of Rise of Skywalker. He waited all those years. I mean, spoilers, he got his medal. I'm sorry if you hadn't seen it, he gets his medal. But yeah, it's heavy. I guess it wouldn't be so heavy on Chewbacca. But again, wasn't planning on doing a stream. Then the Obi Wan news comes out. I say, hey, Roxy's doing a stream. Who told her everything she knows about Star Wars? Me. So I'm not going to let her take all the glory and do all the reaction. That's not right. That's not fair. She did get me to 50 subscribers, which I appreciate, but let's get some expert opinions in here. Okay, so the series is delayed. That fucking sucks because I want to see an Obi-Wan series as soon as possible. I cannot get enough Star Wars content in my life. I'm insatiable in that way. I get that maybe the script, from what I've read, was too similar to what's going on with Mandalorian. I'm going to make sure that this is more visible because it really should be more prominent. I'll just hold it right here. Perfect. So it was delayed seemingly because the script was too similar to Mandalorian, with Obi-Wan watching over like young Luke, like Mandalorian's watching over Baby Yoda. So I get that you might want to change it. My biggest problem is it seems like with every Star Wars property, new Star Wars property under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, that there's some behind the scenes drama. And to me, I don't know, not just to me, but to anybody, wouldn't that indicate bad leadership? I mean, if you have shit going down every single time you're trying to get a project off the ground, something's wrong with the way things are being run. And the way it's just too heavy to continue to just hold up like there. I also feel like an asshole just like holding it like this, but I do want people to see it. It's just long. It's a long string. Can I do this? Maybe it could. No, then it looks like a dog collar. All right, it's just gonna lay where it is. It's gonna be fine. Maybe I'll move this back. Nope, that didn't work at all. Okay, we're working with just the regular Mac camera. I don't have the fancy ass setup that Roxy has with her. Thank you, Glenn. 50 subs. Close. That's just one step closer to 50 million subs, which is ultimately the goal. Does anybody have 50 million subs? I'm not a big YouTube guy. I should know that. 50 million, a lot of subs for like the biggest people. We'll get there. Doesn't matter. What I was saying, the Kathleen Kennedy stuff. So every project seemingly has some sort of controversy. Rogue One did humongous reshoots. They got rid of Josh Trank as a director early on in the process of writing episode 8, and then they got rid of Colin Trevorrow. They fired Lord and Miller from Solo. There's been a ton of shit going on, and who's at the head of the snake, if you want to call it, the Disney snake? Kathleen Kennedy. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, and I put this on my Twitter too, I've loved I've loved every bit of content that Disney's put out since they've acquired Star Wars. I have some minor problems with it, but in general, I think they've done a really good job. However, I think that having just the one person in Kathleen Kennedy as the sole decision maker hasn't really worked out, and it hasn't allowed for Star Wars to grow as much as I'm hoping for. And I think as a lot of fans are hoping for. When Disney acquired it, it really opened up the universe to be like, oh my God, we can go in this direction. We can go in that direction. We can explore things we've never really seen before. And Kathleen Kennedy hasn't really given people the creative freedom to do that yet. That's where I feel like Kevin Feige's excelled with Marvel, is he said, hey, keep it somewhat structured because we're leading up to this big event that ended up being Infinity War and Endgame, but be creative, do your own thing. You're in this sandbox, but you can explore as much as you want. I feel like Kathleen Kennedy is like a bureaucrat. Like, you're doing it this way. If you disagree with me, I'm throwing it out. You're either fired or we're going to reshoot. And I just think that's a shitty way to handle such a what I think is the most valuable and should be the most creative IP in all of Hollywood. That's Star Wars. I mean, you're talking about a property that has captured the imagination of people since the 1970s and spans thousands of years of history. You could do as much history or as much into the future as you want with Star Wars. You could do essentially any genre with it. That's why it's so cool. And yet, I feel like Kathleen Kennedy sort of put creators in a box and continues to do that. And that's evident by the turmoil you see off the screen and the behind the scenes shit that goes on. And today is just another example of that, with the Obi Wan series being completely shut down. What's going on? Hello to everybody in the chat. BLee1130. I know you have a first name. I know it, but I don't remember it. And that's my fault. That's bad. I'm going to say Brittany. B for Brittany. That's my guess. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm right. Brandy. Shit. Brandy. It's never going to happen again. I'm going to tell you that right now. I will not forget. I will never forget that again. Brandy. It's in my brain now. Glenn was easy because it just says Glenn. So I got that one down. So where were we? Star Wars. Yes. Metal. Thank you. I thought it was a good guess too. Metal. Bespin. See, my Star Wars credentials are legit as hell. I just didn't have time to set up a whole elaborate thing. Yeah, she yells at me regardless, so you don't even have to have her do it. She'll do it for whatever reason. Where was I? I'm forgetting my train of thought. I don't know. You know what? Credit to Roxy. Credit to my sister for doing this. Reading the chat and then remembering what you're saying. It's fucking hard. Really hard. I'm not used to having people in the chat. I'm used to having like one or two people in the Celtics chat because I go on like immediately after and start talking about the game, and I talk so fast that I just can't even pay attention to it. I mean, I like engaging with the chat. That's good. The chat. I'm pointing in the direction of the chat on my screen. I'm hoping it's relevant on your screen too. But it's difficult going back and forth. And you know what? I'll improve it. My background is in radio. I do radio stuff. I do podcasts. I'm not really dealing with a chat. I'll deal with callers. So this is new for me. I like it though. It's good. It's good. Keep chatting. Chat away. Chat to your heart's content. But we were talking about Star Wars. Oh, yeah. Yes, Glenn, WEI. I was on WEI. I did a couple podcasts for them. I do some podcasts on the side, independent contracting stuff. I've done a bunch of different radio stations. I worked at the Boston Herald in their sports department, doing radio for them. I'm all over the place, mostly sports, but my biggest passions are sports, Star Wars, superheroes, 3 S's you really need in life. Because if you limit yourself to 2 S's, then you're SS, and you don't want to ever be SS. That's not good. 3 is fine. 2, not so good. 1 or 3 or more, not 2. Anyhow, Fall River. I can't say I go to Fall River that much, but I do know where it is. And I love all my Massachusetts people. I was actually talking to Roxy yesterday about the whole Michael Che thing, and full disclosure, neither of us talk too much about Saturday Night Live because our aunt has worked for Saturday Night Live for like 30 years. So we have we're biased about it. There's a family connection to it, but I'm not a big Michael Che fan. I don't know how Roxy feels about it because he insulted Boston before, and I get super defensive about defending Boston. So if anybody crosses the city of Boston, which I expand to the entire state of Massachusetts and New England era, then you suffer my wrath, which is just basically me tweeting mean things about you or just saying them on YouTube, I guess. That's my wrath. It's very intense. We are here to talk about Star Wars, and we have been talking about Star Wars. I do have a medal from the Battle of Yavin that I served in my imagination, and basically, I'm just upset that the show's delayed. If I'm thinking about it rationally, I'm less mad at Kathleen Kennedy and more mad that I just don't get to see Ewan McGregor as Obi Wan Kenobi anytime soon. I mean, that just sucks. I want to see him now. Like when Mandalorian ended, I was like, all right, let's get some more Star Wars going on right now. We got the trailer for the last Clone War season. that'll tide me over. But I'm gonna watch it as soon as each episode comes out, and then I'll want more Star Wars stuff again. So I'm never going to be satisfied. It's just. I mean, it's like a drug for me. So uh, the Obi Wan news is disappointing. And again, while I have no problem with fixing a script if the script wasn't up to their standards, I just feel like the way Lucasfilm has been run since Disney acquired it is with Kathleen Kennedy as the judge, jury, and executioner, and the only person who gets to say, this is good enough, this isn't good enough, this is how I want it, and this is how I don't want it. And when you stifle the creative process like that, I feel like it really limits you. And again, with a property like Star Wars, you don't want to be limited. You don't want to be put into a box. And when you have one person, especially one person who, listen, Kathleen Kennedy has a long and storied history as a producer in Hollywood, but she's not a creator. And that's why I think that the person who is in charge of Star Wars needs to be an inherently creative person with creative chops. The name that's thrown out the most, and this is what I said in my tweet, was Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Those guys have legitimate creator credentials. Dave Filoni is the closest thing to George Lucas out there. And Jon Favreau, I mean, basically kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just look at the movies he's made. I mean, Jon Favreau made fucking Elf. Like, that's how creative he is. He's done Elf. He's done Iron Man. He's done Jungle Book, like Lion King, all sorts of shit. Jon Favreau, creative as fuck. Chef, that's creative too. So I just want it to be Star Wars to not be pigeonholed by Kathleen Kennedy. And I think that's what's happening right now. And that's the most disappointing thing for me with this whole Obi Wan story and takeaway, is that I think this is Kathleen Kennedy again ruling with her iron fist and saying, this is the way it needs to be done. I'm the only person that knows what's right for Star Wars. And I don't think that she necessarily is. I would go with some new blood, creative people, see what happens. And I think the more they're willing to get weird and explore the different genres and different corners of the universe in Star Wars, the better that will be for fans and the better it is for the property. And ultimately, I think it'll make Disney more money. They're so risk averse as a company, and they're so scared to say, well, if we do something a little bit different, it may not pay off, that I feel like that's limiting Star Wars. And that's what Kathleen Kennedy is doing. Whereas, again, and I said this earlier, if you look at what Marvel's done so successfully, is they've taken risks and they've paid off big time. I'm a comic book fan, and I barely knew shit about Guardians of the Galaxy before the movie. And look how big that franchise turned out. And that really tied everything in together towards what Marvel was trying to do. So doing these different genres, exploring more corners of the galaxy outside of the Skywalker saga, that's what you want to do. And to let that creativity blossom, I think you need somebody besides Kathleen Kennedy. So that's my opinion. That's where I am. That was this quick live stream that I promised everybody, because I did get to 50 subscribers. That's awesome. I started the day with like 12, which is, I mean, like, honestly, that's not good. 12 sucks. No one wants 12 subscribers. Babies on YouTube who literally can't even press buttons, they have far more than 12 subscribers. So 50, now we're establishing some credibility here. Next step, pass Roxy. After that, PewDiePie. After that, I guess a Kardashian, are they at the top of this? We'll pass all of them. I feel very confident about that. I will tell you, you know why? It's because of these very strong hand gestures that I'm doing. That is why I am going to get that many subscribers. Strong hand gestures. So yeah, that's all. Thank you to everybody who came in the chat. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed. Thank you to everybody who's going to watch this after the fact. I assume millions of people, maybe hundreds of thousands at bare minimum. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you. And I will try to do this more. You know, now that I have 50, that's like a small fan base. I got to keep you people appeased. I can't just do Celtic stuff. So I'll do more. I'll do Marvel stuff. I'll do DC stuff. I'll do Star Wars stuff. I also sell comic books and like collect vintage comic books. So I'll start talking about those. I'll show those off. They're dope. They're dope ass comic books. So we can get into that too. And yeah, that's all I got to say. I appreciate you thanking me for my service in the Battle of Yavin. This is the medal I received. And yeah, it's real gold. No, this is definitely like painted metal. Made in China. Yeah, not real gold. So yes, I always go to Boston Comic Con. I will be there. Am I going to start talking Schmodown? I am honestly not that educated on it. Though Roxy tells me I'd be really good at it. I'm good at movie trivia, so maybe I'll try my hand at it. I don't know. I did when there was a New York Comic Con. Who came? The trivia movie trivia came. Who are Screen Junkies movie fights. I won that at New York Comic Con a couple of years ago. So not to pat my own back, but a little good credibility. That's the word of the day. Credibility. Again, last time, thank you to everybody in the chat, and I appreciate you. And I will talk to you later. I'll do more of this now. Thank you, fan base. We're here. We're proud. Here and proud. That's now okay. I don't know how to end this. I don't want. Well, I do, but I don't know how to. All right. Everybody, thanks again. Thumbs up. Those are good. Do that. All right. Thank you. Subscribe. You've already subscribed. No, thumbs up. Good. All right. Everybody, see you. Goodbye.